So we absolutely crushed it today. In terms of my own personal trading, I ended up going 2 for 2 using the game plan along with the 10-day, 30-minute chart patterns that I teach you. With that being said, I ended up buying SPY call options towards the exact lows back to back, making 150% profit returns on both of these wins combined. The second win was literally at the exact lows. And in terms of the key level of interest, I told you that was the make or break support to consider buying SPY call options. It was towards that 603 level. The SPY did end up having a small drop below the key level, which is an even better opportunity to buy call options at a better price if there is strong bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations. For those of you who used the 30-minute chart, you should have been saying as it was developing later on throughout the day that it's an exact repeat compared to yesterday. As you can see, if you look at the overall patterns, the 30-minute chart, green, red, green, green, red, green, bullish move, bullish close. As you can see right here, we're at the same levels, previous day lows, slightly below the key level I told you of interest to be buying SPY call options at. And then you could see green, red, green, buying SPY call options on the dip. SPY's forming higher support here after a break and retest previous resistance to react to support, buy SPY call options here, sell into the rip. The same exact pattern occurred today compared to yesterday, and it was at the same exact levels. I was able to buy SPY call options twice, going 2 for 2 on the day with 150% profit returns. We absolutely crushed it. I'm going to be reviewing the trades towards the end of this video, but let's get into the new nightly game plan. So, in terms of the overall market, as you can see, we are still moving fairly slow, which is one of the reasons why I'm going closer in the money. But we're still having these, slow, gradual moves up. I mean, today was a lot easier compared to yesterday, in my opinion, to make money. The moves were slightly bigger in a sense, and it was just a fairly simple trading day, right? There was no reason for calls at open. You had the red bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations in the pre-market. You had the previous closing price reacted as a resistance. But once the SPY was holding previous day lows for fucking hours with the green, red, green bullish pattern, those were all the reasons to be buying SPY call options. And then this is a shift in trend where we break above resistance, drops back down, higher floor, breakout and retest, buy the fucking dip. It's going to start to spike and close high. Same exact pattern as yesterday, right? So in terms of the new game plan, it's going to be very simple. This is what I have to say in terms of a day before advance, right? So in terms of the SPY, when I'm giving analysis a day before an advanced, especially when we're just moving slow like this and the SPY is just pushing for new all-time highs, there's not going to be much to say in a sense. It's going to be more just waiting for bull and bear traps, waiting for things to play out, kind of like what I did today in a sense. But that level was very useful in terms of last night. But in terms of what I am seeing, this is what I have to say, and this should help you a lot, heading into tomorrow. 603.91 is the make or break level. Now, in terms of the market open move, for those of you who are interested in trading in the market open, this is what I have to say. For the bulls to have a strong chance at market open in terms of the gap and go, we would need to see a gap up, ideally above 605 to 605.50. We would need to open up higher than that. If we're opening up higher than that, the SPY is going to attempt to have a gap and go. The previous closing price would be the best level to consider call options, 603.91. And then you could try the break and retest. The break and retest level would be right here, this extended hours resistance at 604.50, right? You can also look at pre-market highs. But in order for the bulls to really have that gap and go, we're mainly going to have a nice gap up heading into the market open. And then you're going to need to see a floor, whether that floor is forming in the pre-market or whether that floor is forming towards market open at 604.60 range. Look at pre-market levels as well, and 603.91. Now, this is going to be very important. So if the SPY is dropping during the extended hours trading session, we're not really gapping up. We're barely gapping up. We're opening up flat. We're having a small gap down. Based off the 10-day, 30-minute chart patterns that I'm seeing, it's going to try to have a bearish drop at market open. So if you see into the pre-market that if the SPY is starting to drop a little bit, right, like it was doing today, and you're seeing, this 604.20 to 603.91 range react as a resistance, bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, you're going to want to be buying put options towards the market open. Use the pre-market chart. If there's no confirmations in the pre-market, then wait for the 30-minute chart to develop during normal trading hours, right? So for the bulls to have that main shot into the market open to just have that nice bearish quick drop, the key is to drop during the pre-market. That is the key, to drop during the pre-market, to not really gap up, and to simply just turn, this 604.20 into a resistance level. If you're seeing that happen in the previous closing price reacting bearish, buy the fucking puts, sell into the move, set the profit stops. It's going to be an overall bearish drop into market open. That is the thesis for bullish and bearish thesis. If you use that thesis with the confirmations and wait for the proper confirmations to develop, if it's aligned with the confirmations, everything's checking out, the trade should work out phenomenally. Now, if we are having a bearish day, there's only going to be two levels to buy call options. So if we're reacting bearish, the market's opening up flat, we're not really gapping up, we're reacting bearish at 604.20 to 603.91. 603.91 is basically the make or break level. If we go under 603.91, the SPY should have a nice fucking free fall. If we go under 603.91, should have a very, very nice drop. But again, that's mainly if we are opening up flat, we're not really gapping up, we're just gapping down in general. But that 603.91, that's like the hanging on the thread level for the bulls, right? So if we can't form a floor at there, bulls are hanging on a thread, we're going to see a nice drop. In terms of where we're dropping to, previous day lows. So on a bearish trend day, we should be heading back to previous day lows. Now, in terms of the levels I have for calls for you on the bearish trend day, because I already gave you levels for resistance buy to puts. In terms of the oversold call levels, based off of what I'm seeing on the 10-day, 30-minute chart and the daily chart patterns as well, is likely going to start to bounce back. So even on a bearish trend day, there's likely going to be a good reversal to be buying SPY call options. Now, you got to be a little careful with the previous day lows. I'm not considering it the best day level, but just keep an eye on 602. Keep an eye on 602. But the main levels, I mean, it's very unlikely that we would drop this low heading into tomorrow. But this would be a killer level, 599.50. This would be a killer level, 597.50, right? You're just looking for 30-minute bullish candlestick confirmation chart patterns at those levels. But this would be the main level of interest, man. This 601. So in terms of like a range on a bearish trend day for a reversal, you can really keep an eye on like this 601 to 602, but this 601, this pre-market support that has not been tested to react to support during normal trading hours, that should be a fucking phenomenal dip buy towards that 601, man. So that's the game plan in terms of the reversal for calls. I gave you the levels for puts. Just be extremely careful if you're going to try to buy calls at the higher levels. Just know SPY is going to free fall towards the market open if that previous closing price is reacting as a resistance and we're dropping through that previous closing price. So I gave you the market open plays, and I gave you the reversal play for calls on a bearish trend day. Like I said, 602 to 601. Keep an eye on that zone. 601 would be the best overall level that I'm seeing. And that's mainly going to be it. Levels below that, unlikely to hit, but 599.50 to 597.50 at some point, based off what I'm seeing. On a bearish trend day, the SPY should have that bullish trend reversal. So like I said, just wait for the 30-minute chart to develop, right? SPY was crashing at the market open. There was no reason for puts. So what I did was I waited for a trap to get created. That's what I like to do. I like to wait for traps to get created. There was a trap that was created at market open where the previous closing price was reacting as a resistance and the SPY was selling off. Well, once we hit the level, this was the level that I gave you, 603.30. There was no reason to buy calls. It just, ended up cracking through. But like I said, if there's a confirmation later on the day to buy slightly below the level for calls, right? Or towards it, then you just buy calls. It's an even better situation. You're buying at a more oversold level. But in terms of overall trades, just recapping the trades here, man, I'm going to walk you through mine. So in terms of the trade that I ended up making today, this was the first trade that I ended up making today. Like I said, I prefer to trade and trade best, typically after 11 to 11:30 a.m. In terms of my own personal trading, I don't like trading during the market open. In terms of Team Roar, these are the best morning trades you're ever going to experience. I'll follow some of the morning trades inside of Team Roar. But in terms of my own personal trading, I trade later into the day. That's when I personally trade. So the first trade that I ended up making was at 11 a.m. I ended up buying SPY 603 calls at 62 cents. They dropped all the way to 36 cents. I kept on fucking adding. I was seeing all the reasons in the world to average my cost down. So I was averaging my cost down on the drops, as you can see, added at 45 cents, added at 63 cents, kept on adding at 53 cents, adding at 57 cents. We were so fucking confident in on calls. We were both in on this play. And then I ended up selling towards the short-term peak at 84 cents a contract, right? So that in itself, with me adding, was over a 50% profit return. Why calls? I noticed that previous day lows, we had a lot of support. And I was looking at the 30-minute chart. You have this, red trend reversal candle here. You have this red trend reversal candle right here, right? And then it just turns to similar patterns. Green, red, green, green, red, green. Next 30 minutes is strong and bullish. And we're at the same fucking levels compared to the previous day lows. So I'm looking at the chart. I'm saying, wow, this looks identical compared to yesterday. The only real difference was instead of the previous closing price reacting as support, it's reacting as a resistance. But if you looked at where the support was forming, it was forming at the previous day lows. And the 30-minute chart was just fucking identical. I mean, here, let's disable extended hours. If you would have just disabled extended hours, it would have been a lot more clear to just see like how similar this was compared to yesterday. I mean, just look at this, man. This is what I love doing, just capturing these trends, these patterns in real time. Red trend reversal, red trend reversal. I get it. It's not identical. There wasn't a green candle right here. There was a red candle right here. But this red candle facing to the downside tends to be bullish when we're at key support. But the point is, we're at the same fucking level. SPY is holding the previous day's previous closing price, right? For hours. 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90, right? For fucking hours, it's holding that key support. If it can't crack and it's holding that long, that's bullish, man. The bears are going to get trapped. That's why we're so fucking confident, because it just kept on holding that support for such a long time. It kept on forming similar 30 right here, similar 30-minute candlestick right here at the same support level, previous day lows. It's pretty obvious that a bear trap is getting fucking set, right? And the pattern was my confirmation. If you go back to the videos, I teach you this pattern all the time. Green, red, green, green, red, green. Buy calls on the opening of the next 30 minutes. Buy calls on opening the next 30 minutes, sell the fucking rip. Buy calls on opening the next 30 minutes, sell the rip, right? Everything I teach you. So in terms of these calls, man, I got in at 11 a.m. We go to 6:03 calls, right? So I didn't go far out of the money because the market was moving extremely slow, man. You know, you got to time it near fucking perfectly if you're even going to go a point out of the money. So I felt more comfortable going with 6:03 because I was well aware that I might not, you know, it might not be timed perfectly, and 6:04 calls can take a massive fucking hit, right? So in that situation, if it just would have dropped back down to 6:02, I would have just added to the 6:03 calls, because on the measured move, it was likely just going to go to 6:04. So that's what I felt comfortable with doing, right? Now, this is where I got in on the calls right here at 11 a.m. As you can see, when I got in, we had a nice spike to 87 cents. I fucking held through that. I held through that. We did trim some. I did remember, yeah, we did trim some. We trimmed some into the spike, but I held through a lot of that. It went all the way down to 36 cents. The calls were literally down like 40 fucking percent. But I averaged my costs down, so that helped a lot as well. But we don't use stop losses. You know, the risk is so low on these cheap out of money option contracts. We can put in our entire position size as our max risk per trade. They're so fucking cheap and low risk barrier to entry. They're only fucking 50 cents, 60 cents a contract, right? And then this is where I exited. I exited towards this short-term peak at 88 cents, right? When it's retesting this major peak right here and then going to 36 cents, that's where I'm going to be looking to trim in a sense. So that's where I ended up selling. So that was the first trade. In terms of the overall game plan, it was really to just kind of hold that, you know, mainly for 30 minutes, but I ended up holding longer than I anticipated, right? Now, I'm going to walk you through the second trades, right? 12:50 p.m. This is where I got out at 84 cents. We banked on that. That was the first trade that I make. I got out right here. Now, in terms of the second win that I had in a row, let's get into this. It was on the same strike, 2:05 p.m. So I waited to get back in, right? So I got out at 12:50 p.m. I waited an hour to get back in. And what was I doing? I was using a breakout and retest. I looked at the 30-minute chart on the SPY, and I said, this is an exact replica. It's exact, you know, comparison as yesterday, right? So this is what I was looking at. The green, red, green, green, red, green, same support. Buy calls on opening of this 30 minutes. Buy calls on open 30 minutes. Sell the fucking rip. Then what did SPY do yesterday? When it dropped back down to the previous resistance, you see how the green, red, green, you see how there's a roof here, there's a resistance. You see how it's dropping for 90 minutes during this pattern. You see how it's dropping for 90 minutes during this pattern. So the highs of this, 90 minutes, resistance, 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 breakout, breakout, retest, retest. After it had a breakout, it retested the previous resistance. The breakout and retest strategy to buy the dip towards the exact lows. You see, using that overall strategy, I was able to buy these calls, rebuy these calls at the exact lows. 2:05 p.m., let's buy SPY 603, calls at 53 cents, right? So we go to 2:05 p.m., you're going to see the second trade was a lot better. And I'm telling you, in terms of my experience of trading, when you make multiple trades on the day, the best ones tend to be the ones till the very end. You know, the more you trade on the day, you should be trading overall better setup. You should be having more experience throughout the day. The trades should be better later on throughout the day, in a sense, right? Unless we have some sort of crazy, amazing setup in the morning. But in terms of if you're going to keep on trading on the day, the trades should be better on the next trades. They should be overall better. So as you can see, this is a massive improvement, right? I mean, if you look right here, I was buying calls right here. This was a good entry, and it spiked to 80 cents. The calls were up nearly 50%. I trimmed some, held through the pain, added, and that made me a lot more fucking money just adding nonstop into the fucking nips because we're seeing all the reasons to add. It's an exact fucking replica as yesterday with the green, red, green pattern that I teach you all the fucking time in the videos, right? Making losing a personal choice. But 2:05 p.m., this is where I got back in. I got back in at the exact lows on a second trade. Right here, 2:05 p.m., and this is where I ended up selling. I ended up selling right here into the 90-cent range. So, you know, I got it 53 cents right here. I added it 59 cents, man. All of these fucking ads made the profits go fucking crazy. We just kept on fucking adding today because the confirmations were there. We were so fucking confident in this trade, man. Sold at 96 cents. Perfect fucking timing. 2 for 2 on the overall day. It was so simple, man. Excuse me. It was so simple, man. I looked at the fucking 30-minute chart and I'm saying, dude, I just used the green, red, green strategy towards the previous day lows. And the next 30 minutes was bullish, sell the fucking rip. Green, red, green, sell the fucking rip. Green, red, green, sell the fucking rip. I told myself, dude, what's the next fucking play? The next play is this pattern, this history from yesterday keeps on fucking repeating itself. So wait for the SPY to drop back down towards the previous resistance, at this green, red, green. So instead of buying calls down here towards the dip, we're buying calls up here towards the roof, towards the ceiling of the green, red, green, towards the roof, towards the ceiling of the green, red, green, which was located at 603.40 to 603. So right here, this is 2 p.m., right? On the opening of this candlestick, I bought the call options because this right here is a trend reversal pattern. 1 hour slanted to the red. It's retesting, it's holding this previous resistance right here, reacting as support. It's likely going to go bullish, right? And there was also reasons to be bullish in terms of a retest to 604.20. If you looked at the pre-market chart was just signaling that it's going to start to spike back up towards this wick at 604.20, which is why I made it very, very clear in terms of the overall chat that we're going to be selling at 604.20, right? So, you know, I'll give out profit targets on where I'm planning to sell. You know, we don't just sell and then everyone gets out. No, I actually tell you where I'm planning to sell on the vast majority of my trades. I give you the profit targets and we tell you where to trim as well. You can see right here, without a doubt, the SPY will hit 604.20 today. Hold calls at the dips and then only play puts at 604.20. That was the only level of interest I had to play puts. So basically, we were all planning to just sell once 604 goes in the money. And once we hit like 604.10, 604.20, we're selling. I sold a little bit earlier. I was just up so fucking much with that 100% profit return. But yeah, man, that's how we did it. Green, red, green, previous day retest, key support held for fucking 3 hours straight, right? If the bulls can't crack it for 3 fucking hours and there's a green, red, green pattern, then it's time to go. It's time to go up. Green, red, green, next 30 minutes bullish. Green, red, green, next 30 minutes is bullish. We've known it for how long? Fucking 3 hours. Time to go up. Buy calls it open in 30 minutes. And then that works. Breaks out, sell the rip. You don't keep buying into the breakout. Wait for it to drop back down to the previous resistance. Drop back down to the previous resistance. Break and retest. Buy the fucking dip. 90 minutes, 60 minutes was enough weight. And look at the same fucking pattern. Look at this. Slanted to the red. Slanted to the red. Bullish. Bullish. I memorized this pattern from the past when the SPY has a break above resistance and then it has this slanted downtrend for an hour straight. I like the 91 the best. That's my favorite. But this slanted, 30 minute, previous resistance, react to support, floor, buy calls. Slanted, 30 minute, previous resistance, react to support, buy fucking calls, green and bullish, man. That's how I did it, right? So I hope that makes sense. In terms of other trades that we ended up making inside of Team Roar, I'm going to walk you through it. So let's get into that. So I ended up going 2 for 2 in terms of my own personal trading. In terms of G-Roar, let's get into this, man. So as you could see, we had 602 SPY puts for 51 cents a contract. These ended up going into the mid 60 cent range. So in terms of profit stops, at the bare minimum, ideally when you're up 10 to 20%, you're going to want to start setting profit stops. So if you set the profit stop when you're up, it's impossible to go green to red. So in a sense, that play did work out if you set the profit stop because it went to 65 cents. In terms of 603 SPY puts for 66 cents, this was a much better trade, right? So this is 2 for 2 on the day at 10:10 a.m. Let's buy 603 SPY puts. So if we go to 603 SPY puts, you're going to see right here at 10:10 a.m., we are buying puts towards the exact lows. Look at this. 603 puts, we're buying puts towards the exact lows in the 60-cent range. They quickly went up to 110 a contract. That's another 100% plus gainer there, right? So 66 cents. And then as you can see, so these prices, this is when we're alerting the option quotes, the option prices moving in real time. When the quotes move, we're literally alerting the quotes moving in real time, giving you the commentary of everything and the analysis in between the trade as well in terms of where to trim, where to set the profit stops. With that being said, so that was a phenomenal win on the day, man. That's 2 wins on puts right there. Then we had 6050 SPY calls. These went from 150 to 180. This trade, in a sense, for the most part, it didn't work out. But if you did set profit stops, you could have been out with a small win. Like I said, above 10%. Ideally, you're going to be wanting to set those profit stops at 10, 15, 20% range. But it went up first, and then it just didn't work out. But we already had 2 wins before then, and then we had my 2 wins as well. So losing is a personal fucking choice if you keep on fucking trading, right? Like I said, if you have 1 to 2 wins in a row, if you have 1 decent win or 2 wins in a row, then the most you risk if you want to keep on trading is 30 to 50% of your overall profits. And if you hit that max risk, then you can't trade anymore in the day because then you're risking going green to red, right? So losing is a personal choice. The morning trades are nearly green every single fucking day. These are the best morning trades that I've ever fucking seen. And you can see right here, this one was a lot better. So we had 6055 SPX calls for 150 cents. So excuse me, this was it right here. 6050 SPX calls for 150 cents, right? So in terms of this overall trade, the SPX 6050 calls, excuse me, this was the one that worked out. I got it confused with the one before that. These went to 300, one after that, these went to 300 cents. So if we go to 6050 SPX calls, you're going to see right here, this is where we ended up getting in. So we got in right here towards this 12:39 p.m. So I'm going to break this down here. I'm going to show this to you in real time because everything we're doing is in real time. 12:39 p.m. SPX 6050 SPX calls for 150 cents a contract. I alerted SPY calls, and then GWAR ended up alerting SPX calls later on throughout the day. We both fucking killed it. These calls right here, so that's 2 more wins, right? These fucking calls went from 150 all the way to 300 within 15 minutes, right? So that was another phenomenal win. Now, in terms of the next trade, this was the one that I was talking about, the 6055 SPX calls. So, these went from like 150 to 180. And then from there, it just didn't work out. They went back up to like 130, something like that. But if you set a prop stop, could have been a small one on that. But like I said, before that, we already had many 100% wins, 100% win on puts, 100% win on SPX calls, 2 wins on SPY fucking calls. We already had many fucking wins before that potential L. And then 604 SPY calls for 27 cents a contract at 1:35 p.m. This was an interesting one, man. This one, we normally don't do this, but at 27 cents a contract, we were averaging our cost down when the trade dropped 50% at 13 cents, and then they went in the money, and we sold in the money, man. People were holding this for massive fucking wins. They went from 8 cents to 40 fucking cents. And if you average your cost down, your average would have been in the 20-cent range, and you would have been selling at least at the bare minimum because we held this in the 30 to 35 cent range, right? And then this was a very nice one, 6045 SPX puts for 75 cents a contract. These quickly went to, 200 a contract, right? So if you go to, you can see right here, 605 SPX puts for 75 a contract. These fucking puts went crazy, man. This is when we got in. So in terms of when we got in, as you can see, we ended up getting in at 3:17 p.m. And they literally went up 100%. As you can see right here, this is where we got in, 70 cents, and they went to 180 cents, over 100%, 150% plus within just 20 fucking minutes, man, 25 minutes. So as you can see, man, we had many, many wins on the day. Let's be real, man. Who do you know is doing? Who do you know is alerting everything it is that they're doing in real time, giving you the best 0-day options trading alerts in the game? Understand? For that 1L, we had many potential 100% profit returns that you could have taken advantage on. I mean, if you were to combine all the percentage wins on all the gains that we had today, this is easily over a 500% plus gainer day with all of our trades combined. So for those of you who are serious about trading alongside with us and gaining access to our real-time zero-day options trade alert system, is the first link down below in the description. You're going to see, man, the morning trades. You could be done trading within the first 30 minutes to an hour with the best morning trades. These are fucking crazy, man. The morning trades nearly work every single time. My trades, I tend to come in later into the day, and then those work nearly all the time as well. We have the highest win rate in the game doing this, and we're known for buying cheap, borrow the money option contracts that are extremely low risk, and we're known for selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains, right? And as you can see, man, we have days where we make many fucking trades, because if you're a good trader, I mean, you're capable of making many trades, and they're big fucking wins. So, I mean, this just goes to show you, man, all we do is fucking win. This is nonstop fucking winning over here. And I teach and show you exactly how I enter my trades, tell you exactly where to trim, exactly where to exit. So everything we're doing is alerted in real time. Even in yesterday's video, man, what did I tell you about CAVA? I told you, look out for that spike, man. This spike directly at market open, 141 to 145. That was a nice play on calls you could have took there as well. But the game plans work. All of the trades are working, for the vast majority of the time, man. The percentage gains are always going to outweigh the percentage losses. This strategy gives you the highest risk to reward ratio in the game. It gives you the most options, far the money options. These trades are so low risk, so cheap to enter. You can put in your entire position size as your max risk per trade. And we're not risking a lot. You can risk a couple percentage of your account. So the way we're able to make good returns on our account by not risking a lot is by holding the trades and making big percentage wins and also adding to winners. When we're up a little bit, 5, 10, 20%, we tend to add to winners, because when we see a confirmation on the green side, when we're up a little bit, it tends to just keep on working in our favor the vast majority of the times for a big, 100% plus gainer. So when we're up a little bit, 5, 10, 20%, that's small for us. We like to add. Most people sell for their profits, right? We like to add. We like to buy far the money. We like to sell deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains in the market. We're the best in the game you're ever going to see doing this. And we set profit stops to ensure that we don't go green to red on a trade. We move the profit stops up higher to ensure that it protects the bulk of our gains. We also sell into the moves at the key levels. I give you the profit targets as we're in the overall trades. Listen, man, if you want to experience something that's real, something where we have the same members that are subscribed every single month, who've been here for over a year now, that are consistently making $500 a day, $1,000 a day, some of them are making 5 figures a week. We have some members who are making 6 figures a month trading zero-day options. It is possible. There's many opportunities to be trading every single day with zero-day options. There's usually a couple trades. These are the biggest percentage gains in the market. Adding to the winners is going to increase the fucking winners like crazy. Setting the profit stops is going to ensure it's impossible to go to red, and you're going to be protecting your new average cost. Moving the profit stop up higher is going to protect the bulk of your gains as the trade is working in your favor. And with this, you don't need stop losses, man. Think about it. On those calls, if I would have set a stop loss, we all would have fucking lost, man. At times, especially when you're holding for massive fucking wins, it's going to be hard to time it exactly perfectly. And if you're holding for a big fucking win, you don't have to time it exactly perfectly, especially if you're selecting the right strikes, right? So it's fairly simple, man. I'm telling you, once you learn the game and once you learn the trends, you're going to see it's just so easy to hold when you're on the right side of the fucking trend. The trend is bullish. I'm holding with fucking ease, right? Obviously, if you're going further out of the money, it's going to be a bit more difficult to hold if you're not timing it as well. But, the market's been having small moves. So me personally, I felt more comfortable just going at the money. That's what I did. I went directly at the money. I measured the move to 604. I could have went 1 point out of the money. It's just like I said, the main reason why I personally didn't do that, because there was a possibility that this can just drop right back to the lows. And if we drop back to the lows, that 604 is going to get just absolutely fucking destroyed. And then the only way to really win on that is going to be if I average my cost down on a big loser, which is something I didn't feel comfortable with doing. So I just felt more comfortable going with at the money instead of 1 point out of the money in this situation, and not really have to stress or worry about the exact timing. And I could just keep on fucking adding into my winners, man. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm paying more, but the gains were fucking great. The calls went up 150% plus, right? And I timed it perfectly as well. So those are just some things that I want to bring awareness to as well. I don't feel as comfortable going further out of the money when we're just this slow and choppy. in a sense, right? I'd rather just play it safe in a sense and pay a little bit more. But the vast majority of the time, I am going to be going further out of the money. But that's just a more rare situation. So for those of you who are serious about trading alongside with us, it's the first link down below. Within the description, you gain access to all of our 0-day options trading alerts. I'm telling you, man, you're going to see when you're in this group, it's just nonstop winning. All we do is fucking win, man. It's crazy the amount of fucking wins we have some days. It can be like 10 wins, it could be 15 wins in a single day. And on other days, we have like, 2 or 3 wins combined. But it's nonstop winning. The morning trades are fucking insane. And then you're going to see later into the day, during the middle of the day, during power hour trading session, it's nonstop winning, man. It's the first link down below in the description if you want to experience this with us. We have tons of members. Team Roar is massive. We have a large community. It's the first link down below in the description. We have many great traders inside of the community. You'll get to know them as well. We got a couple good names that you'll see that are fairly active, that just give good analysis. They're very active in the community that a lot of you will like as well. So it's the first link down below within the description if you would like to trade alongside with us. We're going to absolutely crush it heading into the market open tomorrow. I will see you guys then.